Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dr. Cook, hello. Last time you were here, my predecessor was minimized by your credentials and insisted that you were not prepared for this job. Essentially, he made me taking your nomination to make his priority in 2022. Would you agree with that? Tanking your nomination?
Senator, in the year that I have been a governor, Federal Reserve Board governor, I have focused on the dual mandate of maximum employment and stable prices. And I've brought to that both experience and research. Experience in policymaking at the Council of Economic Advisors, at the Treasury, and I have also brought my research to bear.
Thankfully, he failed. Thankfully, he failed. That you're not, and you know you're abundantly clear and qualified. You have a PhD in economics, correct?
Yes.
You worked for a professor of economics at Michigan State, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You served as a senior economist at the Council of Economic Advisors and on a board of a community development financial institution or in Grand Rapids, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Now that you've been at that role now for over a year, can you now speak to how your experience prepared for you for this role and for your year on the board for informing your future work?
Thank you for that question, Senator. In particular, I'll just piggyback on the answer that I gave Senator Scott. My time as a member of the board of directors of a CDFI has certainly informed the way I see credit getting into the system and the stability of the financial system and tailoring regulation of the smallest institutions. That's one immediate way that I've seen that. And as a member of the Committee on Smaller Regional Banks and Community Banks, I've leveraged that knowledge to understand how our supervision and regulation affect small and medium-sized institutions. So I think it was critical to have that experience and experience in the financial sector, at an investment bank, at a large commercial bank, with the Federal Home Loan Bank of Indianapolis, where community banks selected me to serve. And certainly my research is clearly focused on the dual mandate, on maximum employment in particular, related to economic growth, productivity, innovation, and I brought that research to bear in addressing these questions in our decisions. Again, thank you for that question, Senator.
Thank you. Thank you. And again, I'm so grateful that my predecessor was not not able to stop you being appointed. Dr. Kugler, I believe that it's critical for the Fed aims to create an economy that truly works for working people. Can you please talk about your background, in labor economics and your time at the Department of Labor, which will shape your work for working on the board?
Thank you, Senator Fetterman, and thank you for meeting with me last week. I very much appreciated your time. Let me say that I truly believe that the two sides of the dual mandate, both bringing down inflation and promoting maximum employment, can benefit all Americans and create broad-based prosperity for the entire country. And I think this is critical. I have certainly worked much more on one side of the mandate, the employment side of the mandate. I have deep expertise on labor markets. As U.S. Chief Economist at the Department of Labor, I worked on job creation policies, on policies that try to get people back into work, including workforce development. And I have extensive experience analyzing U.S. economic data, in particular labor market data, data on employment, on wages and prices from the Bureau of Labor Statistics were critical to develop some of these policy proposals because I truly believe in evidence-based policy making. I believe that a data-driven approach can give us a balanced approach towards policymaking, and it is critical. In fact, after I left my position as chief economist at the Department of Labor, I was asked by BLS to join the technical advisory committee to help them develop better measures of the CPI that would take into account product substitution, that would take into account changes in the consumer basket, so that we could understand at times like we're living through today better where we are in terms of inflation and where we need to go. As U.S. Executive Director at the World Bank, which is a Senate-confirmed position, and I thank Senator Hagerty for having supported me in that role, I have also helped the World Bank grapple with some of the same issues. In fact, inflation around the globe is something that we have seen spread throughout. It's not a U.S. phenomenon, it's an international phenomenon, and it's something that we're seeing even at much higher levels experienced in other countries. I also have engaged on the recovery from the pandemic across the world, which again is the other side of the mandate, right? The mandate that grows economies, that creates jobs. And so I believe I really bring a different perspective, a nuanced understanding of labor data, which is critical to understanding where we are and where the economy is going. And I look forward to continuing to work on both sides of the mandate. But as I indicated before, I think right now, the price stability side of the mandate is very critical, and I am certainly committed to bringing down inflation to the 2% target.
Thank you, Dr. Cook. Thank you, Senator Fetterman, and I concur that your predecessor's inability to stop Dr. Cook's nomination was a very good thing. So, Senator Hagerty.